Voor Leicester maakte hij ook van die goals. Hughes. Pereira aan de bal. Ook hij heeft nog niet gescoord in 2019. En kwijt. Een snijdende paas. Sterling.
Geweldige bal. Het was door het hart van het middenveld eigenlijk. Hè. Zo'n goede bal was dat. Ja, hij dribbelt. Hij wordt onder de druk gezet. Dan speelt hij iemand in. En dan zetten ze vol de druk, City.
De weinige spelers die hebben heeft voor Barça B en voor Real Madrid B gespeeld. Gundogan maakt snelheid. Vreemde beweging. Mahrez. Doore wil door compagnie heen. Mahrez, niet uit. Nu wel. Vijfde keer dat Manchester City op Wembley speelt. Speelde hij ook nog in de Champions League tegen Spurs. Gaat nog steeds door, die discussie. Volgens mij is er misschien weer een gele kaart uitgedeeld vanwege de discussie over die ingooi. Gundogan. Oh, Bernardo Silva. En Gabriel Jesus maakt eigenlijk die kans af. Ja, in die zin dat hij daar stopt. Zinchenko. Heel veel laat hem lopen. Met het duwtje van Doore. Gabriel Jesus krijgt een tik. Kyle Walker.
We hebben hem eigenlijk nog helemaal niet gezien, hè? Die Jesus, hè?
Bernardo Silva's paas. Gundogan. Vlag gaat omhoog voor aanvallen van de keeper. En buitenspel.
Ik vind hem niet heel sterk tot nu toe, Gomez.
Nee, we gunnen hem alles, maar ook niet echt zeggen dat hij echt de topwedstrijd speelt tot dusver.
Dit had het momentje moeten zijn. Dan loopt het een beetje dicht, Jesus.
Het wordt nu wel heel erg één richting verkeer. Mahrez. Walker. Toch maar weer omhoog. Ook een hoekschop via Hughes. Wordt bracht weer voor. Gabriel Jesus. Circus. En voor dus Hens. Van volgens mij de Braziliaan. Zinchenko, de Rob de la Haye van Manchester City.
Want?
Dat is ook een witte. Zo'n dravertje. Mahrez. Steeds volgens het motto van Guardiola de achterlijn halen. Alleen dat gebeurt alleen maar aan de rechterkant. Zinchenko. Veo loopt er voor de vorm steeds naartoe als hij aan de bal is, maar doet niks. Voor Oekraïne overigens, als hij international is, speelt hij mid-mid op het middenveld dus. Gundogan. Zinchenko. David Silva, prachtig. Technisch. Volmaakt.
Ja.
Dus nu echt alleen maar tegenhouden. Proberen tegen te houden. Bernardo Silva. Ja, Gomez zit daar mis. En zo is het 2-0. Gabriel Jesus.
Daar was hij.
Als hij al niet zat.
Oh, die arme keeper, joh.
Ja. Gomez zit er voor de derde keer naast. Weten we zeker. Misschien wel 4 keer. En nu is het fataal. 2-0.
foot was high on David Silva. He didn't miss David Silva, but it was just sort of lazy, wasn't it? And just not putting enough effort in there to try and win the ball back. That's not going to help Watford right now as this ball comes in. This won't help Watford either. Manchester City have scored a second goal. Turned in by Raheem Sterling at the back post. It may go down as Jesus. We'll need to find out when this ball crossed the line. It was a delicious ball towards the back post. A great run from Gabriel Jesus. He touches the ball across the goal line. Sterling is there sniffing. Either way, Manchester City, as we approach half-time, are in a commanding position. They lead by 2-0.
Yeah, it's a really good finish from Jesus. I think Sterling just makes sure, but it's definitely going in from Jesus from the acute angle. Does really well to get that back across the goal, and Sterling just makes sure on the line. But this is the perfect example of what I've been saying about Watford. Bernardo Silva, he cannot have that time and space to pick out Jesus on that far post. Somebody's got to go and close him down, and it's been the story of the first half. He's able to cut inside, get his head up, and I have to say he plays a delicious ball in behind Firmino. It's so difficult to defend that as a fullback if there's no pressure on the ball. Jesus makes a run in behind him. It's in between Gomez and Firmino. He commits himself, Gomez, and it's a really good finish from an acute angle from Jesus on his weaker left foot. And Sterling just makes sure on the line to make sure that it actually goes in. But really good goal from Man City's point of view. But a perfect example there of Watford's first half out of possession. They've been really passive, way too respectful of this Man City team.
Don't forget, they were 2-0 down in the semi-final against Wolves, so don't be disheartened as yet, Watford fans. So if City get a third here, you might want to start, as Riyad Mahrez jinks his way past Holebas and shoots. Saved by Aurelio Gomez. It was on target. Gomez stood firm and palms the ball away for yet another corner. And all the bravery from the Watford performance seems to have drained from them since David Silva's opener.
Yeah, just need to keep their focus, Watford. If this goes 3, then I'm sorry, but there's no way back, and they just get caught with bodies at field there. Quick counter-attack by City, brilliant play from Mahrez, just twists Holebas in and out, gets a shot away on his right foot, good save from Gomez.
Space for Mahrez into David Silva, crosses block, Company's in the box, cleared away. Delafeu gets there before Gundogan, who looks to foul him. That's got to be a foul from Gundogan on Delafeu. It is the Manchester City tactic. If you can't challenge them, then foul them. Exactly what Gundogan has done there.
It took a while, though, for Kevin Friend to give the foul. You can see the Watford players not happy with the referee. 3 or 4 decisions not gone their way. You can just sense the frustration with the ref. He does eventually give the foul, but Delafeu there remonstrating. Troy Deeney there just having a word with the ref. Not sure what that's about, but
probably about frustration,
yeah.
I imagine, from Watford, who have certainly not arrived on the big stage so far, but there is still time as Deeney heads into Decore, and it's back to Troy Deeney in the area, bouncing around the 8-yard mark. Vincent Kompany with a telling challenge just before Deeney could get the shot away.
Yeah, possibly shouldn't have been able to get the challenge in Kompany. It was a free header from the ball.
And Jesus, the goal scorer, as the ball's pumped into the heart of the Watford box again. Mahrez loses out though, and Watford can try and come forward. Good work from Decore, and then that's a fine interception from Kompany inside the Watford half. City eager to win it back inside the Watford half as well, which is a real feature of this Manchester City side, a la Barcelona really in their heyday under Pep Guardiola. As soon as Xavi and Iniesta lost the ball, they won it back and said, right, we go again.
Yeah, it becomes
that carousel, as it was called then.
It becomes a personal quest to recover the ball and set the clever players playing again.
Now it's David Silva just tucking the ball into the path of Vincent Kompany. We've got 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester City were a little bit ropey in patches early on. That gilt-edged chance for Pereira when he was clean through and City's defence was nowhere. Great save with his right foot from Ederson, unorthodox, but it counted. It certainly was critical as well. That might have been a different story, but then David Silva and Jesus twice beating the offside trap, and you could tell from the outset really that Watford's offside tactics didn't seem to be the best in the business, and now it's David Silva who just floats it forward, and it's Zinchenko who tries to cross the ball in. Watford have got it back, and the ball hasn't run out of play, and it will be Watford who come forward down the far side of the field. And here's Gundogan for City as they just pick up the tempo again and try to inflict more damage on this overworked Watford defence. But for Manchester City supporters, turning up thinking, well, this could be a glorious climax to what has been a remarkable season. Well, it's certainly heading that way. City leading by 2-0, approaching half-time. Sterling out towards Zinchenko, crosses the ball in, cleared by the Watford defence. City have put 5 and 6 goals past Watford as well. We've been there at Vicarage Road
on
last 2 or 3
numerous
seasons.
occasions.
Yeah, they have. They've got a history, and they've left out a man who scored a hat-trick against Watford, Sergio Aguero, 18 FA Cup goals, none in the FA Cup final. The only round he hasn't scored in, but Sergio is in reserve, and I would have thought that he's bound to come on at some stage.
That's a phrase I never thought I'd hear you utter.
Yeah, Sergio is there just in case.
In reserve.
Yeah, and I don't think he got that in his contract, did he? It certainly wasn't in the clause that he signed, but he's probably taking it in good spirit, and he's got to, really. Anyway, it's going to be a throw-in for Watford on this near side, and we're approaching the final few seconds of this eventful first half. And fair play to Watford. Yeah. Brighton came here and shut up shop, weren't interested. Limited team, got found out eventually. Well, he got found out early on, but never had a way back into the match. But Watford have shown a bit more ambition, and all credit to them for that, but it's rebounded. Now it's Deeney though for Watford. Can they pull a goal back before half-time? Hughes strikes the ball, comes out towards Firmino. Firmino with a half-hearted effort, which is fairly weak. In fact, it's going to be a corner kick. The referee, Kevin Frenn, took a while to decide that it should be a corner kick to Watford. Fred Eyre.
Yeah, and last-ditch effort to salvage something from this first half. There's just 1 minute of added time as Hollybass treks right the way across the pitch to take this corner on the right-hand side, obviously with his left foot. They obviously think his left foot is worth the effort of him trekking all that way, and it's going to be their last attempt on goal, I'm sure, of this first half.
So here comes the corner kick for Watford, who trail by 2-0. The ball sent in deep, and Edison is there, and who was almost beaten in the air as well. Deeney was the captain. Delafeu gets it, the ball bounces down towards him, but he's outnumbered by Bernardo and also Jesus, whose clearance isn't the best, and it just whips off Pereira, and then it bounces down towards Cappelle. Cappelle releases Cathcart, who finds Hughes. Watford enjoying a spell of pressure towards half-time. They're going to have to get on with it, though, because any second now this first half will reach a conclusion. In fact, City have won it back, and here's Walker surging forward. He's got Jesus away to his right, but he was dispossessed. The whistle goes to signal the end of
Manchester wins from glory. Gallagher enjoying it, Diego Maradona enjoying it, the Etihad Stadium, every man, woman and child
albeit sometimes with a slender 1-goal advantage, but whether they'll go on and try and win an even more convincing style, we'll have to wait and see. Now it's Laporte who just dillies and dallies momentarily and then sends it out towards Walker, who tries to thread it infield. Holebas, though, did well to cut the ball out for Watford, who try and come forward down that left-hand side, but immediately it's won back by Walker, who gives it to his goalkeeper, Ederson. So the City team, Ederson just rolling it out to Gundogan, and Ederson, Walker, Laporte, Company and Zinchenko. Gundogan, the two silvers, Mahrez, Jesus and Sterling. No Sergio Aguero. That was the big shot. Here's Deeney outside the box. Chance maybe for Hughes, as City are guilty of a little bit of complacency at the back. They managed to get away with it, and now they're coming forward, not for long though, because it's won back by Firmino inside the centre circle for Watford. Muric, Danilo, Stones, Aguero, De Bruyne, Sane and Otamendi on the bench. Watford, Gomez, Firmino, Cathcart, Mariappa, Holebas, Decore, Capoue, Hughes, Pereira, Deulofeu and Deeney on the bench. Foster, Jan Matt, Cleverly, Success, Messina, Gray and Cabasele. The referee is Kevin Friend. Andre Mariner is the VAR official, and now it's City coming forward with 4 blue shirts, led by Raheem Sterling, who gives it to Jesus, who's already scored. Jesus has a shot that's charged down by Aurelio Gomez, and that really has set the scene for what could be a grandstand second half.
Yeah, wonderful turn. He was being harassed by 2 men, Raheem Sterling. He dropped his shoulder and went between the 2 of them, and his pace, sheer pace, just took him away from both Watford defenders, left them in his wake as he galloped 80 yards up the field, slipped in Jesus, looked as though he might score. Gomez came off his line, he's trying to put it through his legs, hit Gomez's knees and went behind for a corner taken by Gundogan,
who slides it out towards Zinchenko, long way outside the box. He crosses the ball in deep, and he's headed in, and Manchester, the whistle is up, the whistle is gone rather, the flag is up, and it's offside.
Yeah, Jesus, diving header, ball clipped in, Jesus got his head on it, no chance for Gomez, but unfortunately it's bad angle for us, but obviously the linesman completely in line with it. Flag went up immediately. I don't think we've got any arguments with the decision.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell really from this range whether it was onside or offside, but at Wembley, disappointing to report that 1 or 2 of the corporate seats are empty, and the corporates slow to get back to their seats for the start of this absorbing second half. Now Watford are coming forward on the attack, and Company just has to intervene and slide that ball out from Deulofeu's cross. But Watford are going to make a fight of this. They're going to go down fighting anyway.
Well, they're making a fight of it now, which is all to their credit. And like you just said, I hope they do go down fighting, because it'll have meant that they've gone down.
Yeah, Manchester City are under pressure at the moment as it's played out towards Pereira. He cuts it back, but beyond Decore, and that means that Mahrez can collect it, and Watford are playing a risky game because Manchester City are threatening to hit them on the counter-attack every time Watford concede possession. They're pushing yellow and black shirts forward, but it's certainly looking a very dicey game to play against this formidable Manchester City side. The ball bounces down from Deeney towards Hughes, then Deeney takes it again in his stride. Watford have really come out of the traps and are trying to unruffle City, but City equal to the task.
They are, and they just need to weather this little storm, let Watford blow themselves out, and then continue playing the way they are, the way they have been, and see the game out. But at the moment they've just got to stay strong, look to the inspiration of Mr. Vincent Kompany at the back, and just wait and be patient, and we'll get back into this game in the second half easily enough, I think.
Well, Holebas is down injured on the far side. No substitutions have been used yet. We've spoken at length about Aguero missing out, but what about De Bruyne missing out as well? He will be bitterly disappointed, Fred.
Yes, he will be, but at least he will be able to look back and think, well, I've missed a lot of games. I'm not totally back to the Kevin that I know I'm capable of being, and I think he'd be more accepting of the fact than Sergio.
Here's Mahrez as the game resumes on the attack for City, far side of the field. City hunting that 3rd goal, which would surely kill off Watford, and now Gundogan for once sends a misplaced pass spinning out of play for a Watford throw, but I think Gundogan was one of the underrated stars of that first half, Fred.
He is one of the underrated stars of the Manchester City team. If I'm being quite honest with you, he looks a true and thorough professional. Everything he does without fuss is usually clinically correct. He's an absolute vital member of the City team and squad, and I'd be loath to lose him if I was the manager. But he does seem, or he's made it known, that the end of his contract is looming, and he maybe like to move on. I can't understand that, but I don't know what his personal circumstances are.
Maybe
of course,
it's just paper talk, Fred.
Do you think so?
Well, you never know, but there's a lot of speculation in the newspapers that doesn't always prove to be true. But anyway, we'll wait and see, and whether Kompany's playing his last game for City as well, that's another talking point. Of course, no doubt Jimmy and Fred will talk about various issues after the game as Watford come forward, trailing 2-0. Can they pull a goal back? And the ball was played in by Pereira far side, but it really has been a compelling start to this second half, which is 7 minutes old. City still leading by 2-0. Jesus with an effort that was charged down, and at the other end Watford have had one or two attacks that might have produced a strike on goal. Now it's a Watford free kick midway inside the City half.
Yeah, Walker caught in possession again and then committed a foul, which is an invitation for Watford to put the ball into the box, where Cathcart and Deeney are very, very dangerous. Delafeu has been a revelation since the start of this second half. Pep Guardiola, of course, gave him his debut when he was 17 at Barcelona. So we don't want him repaying the manager's faith in him there with a scintillating second half performance here.
Well, the Watford fans doing their best to get behind their team as Holebas sends the free kick curling into the penalty area. Kompany inevitably is behind it and thumps the ball out of play far side. Holebas will go across and attempt to unlock the City defence with a throw in this time, rather than using his trusty left boot. It will be the long ball hurled into the danger zone. Deeney is there, plenty of muscle and strength. Decore also. Delafeu scored at that end to bring Watford back into the semi-final against Wolves, is also there. Headed away by Walker in front of Edison, and Watford collected again through Firmino. Now it's back from Mariappa towards Cathcart, far side. Cathcart chips it forward, Pereira knocks it down, bounces away towards Deeney, who finds Delafeu. Delafeu spots at the space on this near side, which Firmino exploits, crosses the ball in, appeals for handball, waved away as the ball was glanced on. Looked a half-hearted appeal as well, ignored by the referee as Walker hits it long downfield. Holebas is underneath it. But this is fascinating to watch this, because Watford are pushing forward, they're really going for it, and it means that they're leaving gaps at the back, and a team of the calibre of Manchester City may well exploit that. But for the moment, let's give Watford a bit of credit for the ambition that they're showing.
Give them a lot of credit that this is what they should have been doing from the kick-off. Certainly, definitely should have been doing it all this second half, and that is giving it a good go. That's what they're doing, and they're looking much better and much more dangerous for it. We could nick one on the break, but that's the chance they've got to take.
Well, Bruyne is going to come on for Manchester City. 55 minutes have been played. Bruyne enters the fray, and Mahrez is going to come off. So what's the thinking behind that, Fred?
Well, Bernardo Silva goes out to the position where we've grown to love him, having said that, he does really, I think, prefer playing in the centre of midfield. He's vacated that spot now to Kevin De Bruyne, and Mahrez is somewhat reluctantly, and I can't blame him for that either, getting off the field, shakes the hand of Kevin De Bruyne and the manager, and takes his seat on the bench. He's done okay in this in the little spell that he was on. 54 minutes for a creative player like that isn't really enough, but who can complain about Kevin De Bruyne entering the fray?
Well, Guardiola went to shake his hand, and Mahrez looked disconsolate, as Fred said. You'd expect that, but it was a long look back from Guardiola just to check that his player was okay. But such are the emotions of a day like this, that there are going to be winners and losers, even on one team, and Aguero will feel that although he might end up lifting the FA Cup with his teammates, it's not an afternoon that he'll treasure. Certainly at this stage anyway, it might still change. City have got to throw in just short of the halfway line.
Yeah, he may well come on. There's Mahrez featured on the television screen. Looks a wee bit upset. Can't blame him. It's FA Cup final. He's done okay as well. He's done all right.
It was a useful outlet for Manchester City, who are going charging forward down the right-hand side now through Kyle Walker. Bernardo is available on the outside. Instead it goes back to De Bruyne, whose class and mastery will surely have an impact on this Wembley occasion. Now it's Bernardo towards David Silva. 2-0 to Manchester City. David Silva and Jesus, the goal scorers in the first half. Here's De Bruyne wide on the right-hand side, kills the ball in, and Cappelle gets in the way and volleys it clear for a corner kick. And yet again, immediately Kevin De Bruyne says, this is what I can do.
Yeah, immediately he goes down the line, puts in a cross, whips in a cross, which was dangerous and difficult to defend, and it's yet another corner. I've lost count of the corners, Andrew. That's your department. Nine seems like more.
Yeah, it does seem like more, but time goes, Fred, at our age, and it's only 56 minutes on the clock, so that tally might well increase in the next half an hour or so as the ball's played in, and it's headed down by Laporte from a textbook position, really, deep inside the penalty area, and he'll feel slightly disappointed. He didn't do better with that header, Fred.
Yeah, as Sergio Aguero warms up, not sure if those are his shorts, but they look a little baggy. They look a bit halfway down his calves, but he's warming up anyway to a degree as Aurelio Gomez prepares to take this goal kick.
Gomez with the clearance then. Pep Guardiola aiming to emulate Louis van Gaal by winning the English, German and Spanish Cups. Of course, Manchester City leading 2-0, but under the cautions, Deulofeu managed to wriggle free, but it was a wasted effort in the end. It was a difficult chance as he drove the ball wide.
It was. It broke for him. I don't know whether it surprised him, but he snatched at it. He does possess a certain degree of calmness in those positions. He can finish, but he snatched at that, and we all just watched as it trickled past the far post for a dead ball kick.
Here's De Bruyne from Edison's clearance, which was well controlled by Kyle Walker initially, but now Watford are coming forward again, and company just had to shield the ball back to Edison in the City goal, who's completely untroubled, and he finds calmer waters through De Bruyne, who rolls it out towards Bernardo, and this is what Manchester City can do. They can hurt the opposition. They've done it frequently. Ball crossed in, Jesus lurking, Watford scramble it away. The City substitutes are warming up, so too the Watford substitutes. Danilo, Aguero, Otamendi, they're all there. Now it's played forward, but rather wastefully by Gundogan, straight to Gomez, the 38-year-old Watford goalkeeper, making his final farewell appearance. And what better stage there is than an FA Cup final.
Yeah, but obviously from his point of view, it would have been better if he was in a winning position, but not from our point of view, I'm afraid. We hope you enjoy your retirement, but hope you go out not in a blaze of glory.
Pep Guardiola has only lost here once as a manager 2 years ago in the FA Cup semi-final to Arsenal. Silva just stumbles slightly, and then Will Hughes, and David Silva's going to get caution.
Yeah.
Was it an automatic reaction, do you think?
Yeah, he slipped on the ball, which David Silva doesn't often do, and the Watford player was galloping off with it and showed a degree of bravery because he tried to throw it
to the edge of the area with Dean. He's battling for it. It's clipped forward again, but City defence holds firm and clears it away. I mean, that's the thing about City. Not only are they sensational in terms of their quality and they work hard, but they know how to win games the hard way as well. As now they come forward, De Bruyne inside the penalty, surely it's the third, takes out Gomez and he puts it into the back of the net. A quick break from Manchester City has undone Watford, and De Bruyne seals it.
For David Silva to find himself in.
So Watford attacking the end, behind which their fans are gathered, making quite a noise as well, as the ball's played in by Pereira, headed away by Company. City have got to be resolute at the moment, because Watford, if they could sniff and find a way back into this game, would surely gain a great deal of encouragement. Manchester City want that third goal. They might get it as well. Here's Jesus. He's got De Bruyne to his right. De Bruyne, 1 against 1 with the goalkeeper. Kevin De Bruyne has scored a
field. First of all, Jesus challenged for a ball in the air, only half won it, kept going, challenged for another ball in the air, same thing, half won it, went for a third one. That's 3 challenges in 10 yards. He went for them all, half won the first 2, completely won the third one, which set Gabriel Jesus away. He galloped on the Brazilian striker, who loves to score goals himself. He could possibly have scored here, but obviously out the side of his right eye he could see Kevin De Bruyne galloping up alongside him, played it into his path. We all held our breath waiting for De Bruyne to side foot it into the net. He didn't, he just calmly took it inside Gomez, who'd raced off his line, and then calmly side footed it into the net with his left foot. A wonderful goal, 3 great pieces of play by 3 great Manchester City players. Manchester City 3, Watford 0.
So De Bruyne comes on, and minutes later scores City's 3rd goal, and what a wonderful scene we've got here. One of the highlights, one of the great occasions in the English sporting calendar. The Manchester City fans celebrating the treble. They realise that it's in the bag now, 3 goals surely against Watford. But at the other end, the Watford fans still cheering and enjoying their occasion, the first FA Cup final for 35 years, determined to milk in every possible moment, even though the scoreline is not going in their favour. City leading by 3 goals to 0.
Well, until that goal, really, Watford fans still had something to hope for, something to cheer for, and they've been right behind the team. But that goal from the Manchester City trio just has finished the job off.
Here's Sterling inside the penalty area. Can City make it 4? Tries to find David Silva, but it was not quite the accuracy of pass that he wanted. Silva collects it instead, crosses it back in. Watford struggling at the moment, and then Doucouré just belts it long downfield towards Deeney. But it's become a forlorn task now for Watford, and that majestic figure of Kevin De Bruyne, who just strolls around Wembley as though he owns it, made to measure for such an occasion.
Yeah.
With the game stretched as well, Fred.
Yeah, he's on the ball again. He's probably had more touches since he's been on than some players on this field through the whole of the first half and a quarter of the second. And the main difference between De Bruyne's touches is he makes them all count.
Well, Watford are going to make a substitution, and Manchester City are in possession at the moment, but Wembley really has been spellbound since that 3rd goal, because that really has clinched it, and City now just well, they're looking for goals, maybe 4 and 5, just to underline their dominance. Here's De Bruyne inside the penalty area, crosses the ball in, and it almost came off. I think it might come off Walker, and it didn't go goalwards. It went back where it came from, that right-hand side where De Bruyne was trying to cross the ball in.
And the Posman has made a brief reappearance. It's good to see.
So a double substitution about to be made. Andre Gray and Isaac.
Some power coming on again for Watford. Both powerful players, Isaac Success and Andre Gray.
Here's Gundogan for City on halfway. Watford, though, at the moment, all they have to try and do is just counter this classy Manchester City side, who are driving forward again in search of goal number 4. It's relentless, it's unstoppable, it's incredible, it's extraordinary, and it's Manchester City at their glorious best. And the fans who saw 4 goals going at Brighton last Sunday, 3 at Wembley on this Saturday evening, and what a splendid way to finish the season. De Bruyne far side, he's got Jesus alongside him. Aguero was left out, De Bruyne left out, more understandable I suppose, bearing in mind his injury nightmare. But I'll be honest with you, Fred, personally and sentimentally, I'd love to see Aguero come on before the end of the game.
Yeah, I think there's a chance of that. He's not he's a ruthless man, but he's not a heartless man, our manager. So that wouldn't surprise me. What is surprising me is Delafella coming off. He comes off all the time, so I shouldn't be surprised. But I think he's the one, alongside Deeney, that's looked most likely to nick a goal. Proven goal scorer coming on, I admit, in Andre Gray. They'll be going direct now, even more direct, trying to hit Troy Deeney and Gray, just to try and maybe get a consolation goal and give the fans a goal to cheer about.
So off comes Pereira and Deulofeu for Gray and Success. Sane and Stones take their cue to warm up. and Otamendi and Yaro sit down and look longingly, pleadingly at the manager as if to say, please, please, play me. Anyway, Watford try and force the ball towards the edge of the City box, but Company and Laporte are there. And apart from that one lapse when Pereira was through on 12 minutes, 1-on-1 with Edison, who came to his side's rescue, City's defence has been pretty steady at the back. Fred.
Yeah, it could have been the turning point, as I said at half-time, that plunge at the feet by Edison, saving Laporte and Vincent Kompany's blushes wherever they were on the field at that point. They certainly weren't at the heart of our defence. That save might have changed the course of the game.
Well, we've got a quarter of the game to go. 25 minutes left in Manchester City's season, and the fans are going to enjoy every moment of this, because if our minds drift back to 8 years ago when Toure scored, I think it was the 73rd minute against Stoke. It was an anxious, frantic, tense finale, but City can enjoy this one. His success, we can't believe that it's over yet, but if Watford get a goal back, then maybe there might be some kind of extraordinary comeback. But you'd think that Manchester City, a team who've been so prolific, will survive is the wrong word, but will just manage out the situation. It'd be nice to see another goal, but I think the City fans will go away with a lot of affection for Watford, really, for the way that they at least came here and made a battle of it, unlike Brighton in the semi-final, who weren't really interested. Now it's De Bruyne who finds Jesus. He's already scored once. He's got 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper, Gomez, and Jesus makes it 4-0, and Manchester City are running riot in the FA Cup final. Gabriel Jesus with his second goal of the afternoon. Kevin De Bruyne set him free. He was round the back of the Watford defence, and it's Manchester City 4, Watford 0.
And the compliment was returned from a few minutes ago when it was an identical breakaway, and on that occasion it was Jesus who wasn't selfish and put Kevin De Bruyne in for the goal. This time the situation was reversed, and it was Kevin De Bruyne who broke through and slipped Jesus in for him to beat Gomez low under his diving body. So 4-0 now. I think it's official with his selection of Jesus. The manager is obviously a genius.
Well, he's just sent a signal to his backroom staff to say that he's going to make a change. But Jesus is on a hat-trick here in an FA Cup final, which can't be overlooked. And neither can the fact, really, that Bury hold the FA Cup record score 6-0 against Derby County in the early 1900s.
Now you're getting ahead of yourself.
Well, I know, but 4-0 with a quarter of the game to go, Fred. Yeah. It's not beyond it, is it?
No, let's both get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, it is not inconceivable that Manchester City could get another couple of goals.
Well, we've done it.
Now that would be proper history, that would.
Well, we've done it to Watford on 5s and 6s on a number of occasions in recent years.
Yeah, and Watford.
And here's another one. De
Bruyne is absolutely destroying them. De Bruyne is causing absolute mayhem towards Bernardo to De Bruyne. De Bruyne left-footed over the top of the crossbar, and perhaps should have found the target.
He's got the freedom of Wembley. De Bruyne, suddenly since he's come on, it obviously seems as though a substitute, i.e. De Bruyne, has come on, and no Watford player knows that he is to be marked by one of them, and they're all thinking it's going to be somebody else. He has got no shackles whatsoever, De Bruyne. Nobody has marked him since he's appeared on this pitch. Nobody's picked him up. Nobody has said, I'm going to make him my man, I'm going to stop him from doing all this. They're all just too busy with their own little jobs, and he's being totally ignored, and he's a riot. He's a one-man riot.
So Wembley stunned by what it's seen, and now Sane is going to come on for Manchester City as Pep Guardiola just issues a few last moment instructions to the German winger, whose future has been subject to so much debate in the recent weeks. More press speculation again, do you think, Fred, or do you think there's some substance to it? Watford got the ball in, and it's loose on the far side, and it will be Manchester City who just regroup and allow Watford just to enjoy a little spell of play, but not too devastating, hopefully, in terms of getting a goal against Manchester City, who will want to keep a clean sheet as the ball's driven in from Doore, I think it was, and it was scrambled away by Manchester City, and the City fans are in full cry, and they can really savour what has been a remarkable season and celebrate in style. Now it's Hughes down on the right hand side onto his left, but he sends it back towards Doore. His lofted shot sails high over the crossbar, and now we're going to get another substitution, and it's Tom Cleverley who's going to come on as Sane prepares to make his entrance.
It's Gundogan, is it?
Well, we're just waiting at the moment for that change to take place. It's going to be Doore who's coming off, I think, for Watford, but players just pausing and no doubt just trying to catch the breath, really, Fred, because it has been a chaotic second half.
Yeah, it certainly has, thanks to Kevin De Bruyne, and it is Gundogan coming off. Gundogan for Sane, and we'll use for Cleverley.
So Gundogan trudges off, and
that doesn't happen very often. Both the substitutes, 8 for 19 and 19 for 8, and both on either side.
Good spot, Ted.
Mathematician, you see.
Yeah, good observation. So Gundogan comes off, Sane goes on, and on for Watford is Tom Cleverley, as City playing this extraordinary game from a goal kick. Watford have got 3 players upfield and inviting City just to play it long, and City will gladly do that and accept that invitation. And now it's Sane who chases for the ball, but if somebody's going to stretch the defence, I mean, Sterling's, by his standards, is pretty quiet. Now it's Watford coming forward as the ball's crossed in from the right-hand side, but too fierce from Andre Gray. And
I don't know what that was. I'm sure Andre doesn't. Was it a cross? Was it a shot? It was a bit of both, really. Ended up being nothing. So throw into Manchester City right on the other side.
So a fast and furious FA Cup final. 2 goals in the first half, 2 in the second half. David Silva set the ball rolling on 26 minutes. Gabriel Jesus, 12 minutes later, made it 2-0. And then De Bruyne, after he'd come on as a substitute, made it 3-0 on the hour. And 8 minutes later, it was De Bruyne who set up Jesus, who slotted the ball beyond Aurelio Gomez to make it 4-0. And as Fred Ayer alluded to a few moments ago, as Watford prepared to take a throw-in on the far side, that gamble of leaving out Aguero has paid off.
It has, and just the same situation as at Brighton. We didn't expect Mahrez to start. He scored the crucial goal and did okay. And it seems as though everything our manager touches turns to gold.
Throw in from Holebas, then headed away by Company, and then it's driven over the bar, and it won't be Watford who are getting a goal at the moment, because Manchester City are just staying firm defensively and just withstanding anything that Watford can offer, which isn't much really in terms of penetration.
We've got Sterling wide on the right, who has got tremendous pace. We've got Jesus right down the middle, tremendous pace, and Sane wide on the left, stretching the whole pitch, tremendous pace. 3 players stretched right out across the turf, all with blistering pace.
Well, the game will finally resume, because the one ball that we've got has finally been retrieved from the Watford end. A little girl thankfully came to Edison's rescue and gave him the ball. Edison sends it long to Sterling, who gives it to Sane, and Watford managed to withstand that Manchester City attack, and there's more activity down on the bench, and it's John Stones who's going to come on. Look at that, Freddie. It's not going to be Aguero's day. Aguero's not going to see any action in the 2019 FA Cup final. It's going to be John Stones. I thought Aguero might appear, but maybe he's turning around to Jesus and said, well, I can't really deny you the opportunity of a hat-trick. And Aguero, who scored an FA Cup hat-trick against Watford, is watching from the sidelines as City stroke the ball around through De Bruyne, forward towards David Silva, back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko looks up. He's got plenty of options. One of them is De Bruyne. City just knocking the ball around confidently. De Bruyne right at the heart of it all. sends it out towards the far side. BBC Radio Manchester Sport, 95.1 FM and digital radio. Also live on the Manchester City official club website, mancity.com. It's after 6:30. We're here till 8 o'clock tonight. Jimmy Wagg and Fred Air. 0800 218 2255. If you want to book a call, do so now. 0800 218 2255. You can tweet at BBC RM Sport. You can text 81333. Start your text with the letters MANC, M-A-N-C. The phone number 0800 218 2255. Jimmy Wagg and Fred Air here till 8 o'clock. And well, the next hour or so in terms of the Manchester City supporters and the players is going to be one of jubilation and celebration, rejoicing at this famous victory over Watford. 4-0, a convincing, crushing victory over the Hertfordshire side. The Hornets have been well and truly defeated, and Manchester City might even grab a 5th goal. Remember that record score in the FA Cup final held by Bury, who will be hoping that their record is maintained. Wolves will be celebrating this as well, Fred, because it means that Wolves get into the Europa League next season, and Manchester City will play Liverpool in the Community Shield in the first week in August.
So you've sorted it all out. Well done, Andrew.
Well, there weren't too many permutations, in fairness, Fred. It was
no, but you managed to do it.
Wolves or Watford, and because Watford are losing, it's Wolves who were on Manchester City's side this afternoon, because it means that Wolves, for the first time since 1980, will be playing in Europe again.
Good. I think that will be the time Steve Daly scored the earliest own goal in European Cup history.
See, Stato again. Here's Bernardo Silva for Manchester City, who are just toying with Watford at the moment.
Ferencvaros.
Was it really? But you can say it, but you can't spell it. Here's David Silva. David Silva just chips it forward, looking for Sane. Jesus is stationed wide on the right-hand side. No eagerness from him to get a hat-trick, nor from Sane to provide any kind of assist, because that was a pretty woeful pass from Sane out of play. And now John Stones can come on, and he gets an opportunity to replace David Silva, who's been such a legend for Manchester City. One of two players along with Company who goes across to shake his hand there. That's a nice touching moment, an embrace between the two players who've been here before, who've won the FA Cup before with Manchester City. So much has happened, so much success since as well.
And set the ball rolling to tonight with the first goal. So what a wonderful player David Silva has been and still is for Manchester City.
Yeah, and he just looks across towards the City contingent, a sizeable contingent as well, who are going to be making their way back to Manchester either tonight or tomorrow. There'll be a few sore heads, understandably so. But this really is the crowning moment on what has been a fabulous season for Manchester City, who've been quite majestic in terms of their dominance of the English game of football.
I think there might be one more goal in this season.
Really?
Yeah. We've got 10 minutes. I think there might be one more goal in us.
Here it is. Sane, who's wrestled to the ground by Firmino, who realised they'd been outwitted. And Watford are still playing a high lot. Well, they've got 3 or 4 yellow shirts, so we're having to come back now for this free kick. But they are, it's almost as though Watford are looking for a consolation goal.
Yeah, well, I'd say you give the fans something to cheer. They've nothing to lose now. And so if they want to give it a go, then I'm sure we'll cope with it at the other end. But I just feel as though there's one more in it, one more goal in it for us.
So 30,000 Mancunians are celebrating already, and you can't really blame them. A little over 10 minutes to go in the 138th FA Cup final. Andy Buckley and Fred Air, the commentary team at Wembley. Manchester City 4, Watford 0. 2 goals in each half, and a goal in each half for Gabriel Jesus. And if he could add to that tally in what remains of this game, well, that would really provide a fitting climax. It's Bernardo into the box, crosses the ball in, Sterling is there, Manchester City have got a 5th. Bernardo with the cross, and it was so simple. And Raheem Sterling, one of the stars of this season for Manchester City, makes it 5-0, and Manchester City are quite majestic. It's City 5, Watford 0.
Yeah, great piece of work down the left-hand side from Bernardo Silva. Famous step over, took him past the full-back. He then fizzed across, right across the 6-yard box. Gomez glued to his line as it whizzed straight across, and Raheem Sterling on the end of it to apply a strong side-footed finishing touch. 5-0.
Well, Manchester City have now got the record victory in an FA Cup final firmly within their sights. We've got to say that. 6-0 Bury against Derby back in 1903, and 116 years of history. Manchester City can equal it.
Yeah, and 9 minutes to go, so there's every opportunity for that, but I can't keep making these predictions come true, Andrew. I've got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, as Manchester City, well, 5-0. We've had that score against Watford before, and I do feel slightly sorry for Watford, but Manchester City, well, it's quite relentless what they're producing, and it will be, well, an occasion that will live long in the memory. Here's Sterling. City can add a sixth here, goes into the penalty area up against Gomez, but overruns it slightly.
Not much else he could do. He had to just keep on taking men as they appeared in front of him. He couldn't get his head up and look for a teammate. He was going so fast. He went past 3, possibly 4, just overran it at the end as Gomez came out and dived at his feet.
So City searching for that record equalling 6th goal against Watford. Elton John, the honorary president of Watford and former chairman when they lost to Watford, to Everton, I should say, 1984, isn't here today because he's in concert in Copenhagen tonight. So his two sons, Zachary and Elijah, led Watford out with the captain Troy Deeney, but not an occasion that Elton John will be keen to remember. Don't go breaking my heart.
Saw what you did there.
Here comes company for Manchester City, and the Watford flags, the yellow and red, waving away to our right, and they're making it a true sporting occasion, and the City fans are standing up to applaud them, which sums up really the spirit of the day.
It does. I'm glad the yellow and not white, those flags.
Well, Stones has got into midfield for City, and he's just dabbed it down towards Zinchenko. 2 in the first half, 3 in the second half, and now it's De Bruyne towards Bernardo Silva. And Manchester City have made a real statement this afternoon. They didn't need to do that because we knew the qualities, we knew the size of the scale of what they've achieved this season. But after a few weeks of all the anxiety of the title race, all those kind of like nerves have just been released. Now it's Sterling who tries to run through a Watford player on the far side. It was a number 8, Cleverly, who did well. Fred.
Yeah, Cleverly, former Manchester United man, come on as a substitute alongside the 2 strong men, Isaac Success and Andre Gray. But it's made no difference. Once City are in the stride, once City are in the rhythm, it's very hard to shake out of it. We've got John Stones on the ball now in the centre circle, operating in midfield.
So Manchester City 5, Watford 0. The first goal came on 26 minutes, and it threatened to be an open, exciting game. This could be number 6. Bernardo with a shot, and it's charged down. It's deflected over for a corner kick, and Bernardo had a chance there to make history.
Last-ditch effort, managed to get a block in, and the ball looped up. It could have looped up and over Gomez and dropped in the net. It looped up over Gomez and dropped over the crossbar. Corner, wide on the right. Record probably number of corners in this game. This one's going to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne because Ilkay Gundogan has been substituted. But first of all, we've got to get the ball back from those Manchester City fans behind the goal. It doesn't look as though it's forthcoming, and balls have seemed in short supply here at Wembley today, Andy.
Yeah, well, in the era of the multi-ball system,
here it comes.
To wait for the ball to come from the main stand, and you think, well, why can't Wembley ball boys have been notorious, I think, down the years.
Fourth official hasn't got the confidence in his own ability to drop kick the ball out of his hands, has to weakly throw it on. like a young kid in the playground. Not a good look.
Here's De Bruyne then with the out-swinging corner kick. We've got 4.5 minutes to go. There won't be much stoppage time. And it comes, headed away firmly by Cappelle for Watford. De Bruyne collects it, far side, then send it back to Edison. He's not going to have much time on, is he? I think he'll probably do a token 2 minutes in fairness to Watford so that they don't suffer even more embarrassment in this final.
Yeah, it's nearly over now. John Stoll's picking the ball up in midfield, enjoying a bit of freedom there. And he's not had a lot of game time recently, but he's on now. He's going to be on at the end, in the final moments of a wonderful season.
Now it's Bernardo towards the right-hand side. What a star he's been for Manchester City this season as well, as he plays it towards the pressurised Kyle Walker. Then City again just in danger of giving the ball away, but they've managed to not quite get round the back of the Watford defence, but they're surging forward at pace through Bernardo, out towards De Bruyne. De Bruyne cuts it back, Sterling, hits the post, comes out, Sterling again! Raheem Sterling has scored 2 goals in quick succession, and Manchester City have made history. They've equalled Bury's record 6-0 scoreline in an FA Cup final set 116 years ago, and Manchester City, well, it's quite extraordinary. 6-0 in an FA Cup final, and what a way to wrap up a domestic treble for Pep Guardiola and his brilliant team. Manchester City 6, Watford 0.
A wonderful team goal, interchange of passes in the centre circle between John Stones and Bernardo Silva, left the little man galloping away, free as a bird, in possession. The build-up continued out to the right-hand side to Raheem Sterling, who managed to weave his way into a shooting position. It brought a half save off Gomez onto the post and out again. Sterling was quick enough to react and side foot the rebound past the despairing Gomez, who is suffering this nightmare in his final game as a professional footballer. Manchester City 6, Watford 0.
Well, unbelievable. I thought we'd seen it all really in terms of City's achievements and the scale of what they've done, but 26 goals in the FA Cup this season. It started with a 7-0 romp against Rotherham on a cold January Sunday afternoon, 5 against Burnley in the next round, then it was 4 at Newport, 3 at Swansea, just the 1 against Brighton, but we were misled, Fred, because they've hit back with a vengeance in terms of their FA Cup goal scoring account. 26 goals, that is some statistic and some piece of history, but
it is, and it's a privilege for me and you to have been able to convey all these goals to our listeners on this memorable season.
Well, it has. It's been quite phenomenal, really. Manchester City have been well, you're almost lost for words, really, to try and
unplayable.
They are unplayable, yeah. I suppose the only downside would be Europe, but a domestic treble, an unprecedented, historic domestic treble is well, apart from the European Cup, it doesn't get any better than that. Pep will say it's 4 trophies, throw in the Community Shield, but any moment now it's going to be all over. I don't think there's going to be any added time. We've got 30 seconds to go, and City, can they score a 7th goal, which would mean that it would be a record FA Cup win. Here's Stones outside the box. He's got Zinchenko running forward. De Bruyne looks, chips it forward to Sterling, who tries to gab it down towards Sane, comes out towards Zinchenko, to Jesus. Jesus out towards Bernardo. Bernardo chips the ball in. Gomez comes and claims it. And I can't really say that Gomez has been at fault really today.
Well, the first couple I thought were a bit iffy. I think they were savable. I think if we're talking an absolute top class goalkeeper, he might have done a little bit better with them. I can't believe it. Kevin De Bruyne has been made man of the match, and he's only been on 25 minutes.
Yeah, just over half an hour. So yeah, he's not man of the match, is he?
I think so.
Well, I know he is the man of the match.
No, yeah, well, that's what's just been.
Yeah, but he's not my man of the match.
No, it doesn't matter what your man of the match is.
Who's your man of the match?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Anyway, 2 minutes of added time. Can Manchester City find that record 7th goal against Watford? It's a magnificent 6 so far. What has been a quite breathtaking season. Watford are pushing forward on the attack, ball driven in, charged down, and that means that City could come forward maybe on the counter-attack. De Bruyne towards Bernardo, back towards De Bruyne, the man of the match, who gives it to Jesus. He's got Sterling going forward. This could be it. Sterling into the penalty area on a hat-trick. Back to Stones. Stones shoots, charged down by the goalkeeper, and that prevented City from scoring a record 7th goal.
Well, that's a consolation for Gomez. In the last minute, he saved a certain goal, so I hope he goes out on that high, and that's one final good memory before he takes up his new profession as a pastor, not a pastor, a pastor.
So City have become the 4th team to win both major domestic cup competitions in the same season. Arsenal did it in '93, Liverpool 2001, Chelsea in 2007, now Manchester City in 2019. 6-0 the scoreline, equaling the record when Sane shoots, hits it wide, and it might easily have been 7. And we've had the allotted 2 minutes, and as soon as Gomez takes this goal kick, well, scenes of celebration will erupt inside Wembley Stadium, and the yellow and red flags of Watford still being waved proudly by the Hornets supporters, and Manchester City, well, they will start their celebrations, and that parade in Manchester is going to be some occasion on Monday. Gomez with the goal kick, Kevin Friend brings the game to an end, and Manchester City celebrate a fantastic 6-0 win against Watford. Unprecedented, a handshake between the two managers, and Pep Guardiola's team, well, it's unbelievable what they're achieving, but unstoppable, unplayable, unbelievable. It's Manchester City 6, Watford 0.
Do you know, Fred, at half-time I said we're home but not quite hosed. I think it's hosed now, Fred.
Yeah, well and truly drenched, I think, Jim. But a wonderful second half performance. It wasn't as though Watford lay down. Manchester City just stepped it all up more than a gear or two, and showed some true world class in the second half. Watford were worthy opponents, and their supporters have been fantastic and very generous in their appreciation of just one of the best football teams of all time.
I have to say, Fred, just to pick up on that about the Watford fans, we've both been here when by now the losing end would be empty.
Yeah.
The way they stayed behind their team when they were on the end of a pasting was absolutely phenomenal, Fred.
It was, and it's been appreciated by everybody, I'm sure, including the City fans who were applauding them towards the end. It was nice to see, but not as nice to see as the exhibition of pure football in that second 45 minutes from Manchester City.
I have to say, do you know, I think it was Napoleon said, give me lucky generals. I don't know if there was any luck in Guardiola's choice of Jesus today, but as you said, quite light-heartedly in commentary, Fred, you don't half look like a genius for that selection now.
Yeah, well, you can't say, it's there for all to see. You can't argue with results, you can't argue with the facts. And the facts are he's made controversial changes, and virtually every time they've come off. He's never fallen flat on his face once.
Can I ask you, Fred, maybe I'm getting old and sentimental, but I was absolutely convinced he'd get Sergio Aguero out on that park at some stage.
Well, he had every opportunity. Any time there was a substitution with the players we've got, a little jiggle here, a little jiggle there, and Sergio goes on. You know, when John Stones comes on in midfield, etc., etc. He just wasn't going to feature today for whatever reason. And at the end of the day, we've won 6-0. Nobody can have one word of complaint.
Can I ask you, Fred, because at this level of football, obviously the pressure and the desire has to be relentless to sustain success. City fans have always been a little bit reluctant to embrace European success. They've always said first and foremost it's the Premier League. Now they've won it back to back. Do you think the focus will shift towards Europe amongst the fans as it is undoubtedly amongst the players and staff?
Yeah, it could do, because you can't help yourself.
It's
really.
all that's left, Fred.
It's the one thing that we haven't managed to win. We were obviously destined not to win it with the goings on down at the new White Hart Lane, the missed penalty and then it coming back, and VAR stepping in virtually for the first time, etc, etc. Our name just wasn't on that. Fate decreed that they've won enough, and we have to just accept it and get on with it, and we have done. We've turned in good performances since that day and gone on to clinch the title under memorable circumstances.
Just coming back to the fans, Fred, the Watford players are getting an ovation that looks as though they've won promotion or won the FA Cup. Yeah, the way their supporters have stayed on for this is amazing.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Watford team, they didn't wrap it in. As each goal went in, you could have understood the heads going down. This is Wembley, this is a dream. This is Troy Deeney's dream, to come and play at Wembley and score a goal at Wembley and lead his team to Wembley. It wasn't going to happen, but he didn't let his shoulders go down. He's a born warrior, and he didn't let up for a minute. It was just that the opposition was simply too good for him. It was like Muhammad Ali when he was at his peak. His opponents gave everything they got, but at the end of the day they were just beaten by somebody that was on a different level. That's it here. They gave everything, Watford, and they never stopped trying, even when it was 4 and 5 down, and that is why they're so appreciated by both sets of fans.
But if you are a football fan and you get a chance to see pictures of the post-match celebrations and commiserations, whether it's on social media, match of the day or whatever source, this is a stadium where we've all been, and the disappointment of losing means that the losing end of the stadium is often totally empty by this stage of the proceedings. Here today in the 138th FA Cup final, the Watford end is still at least 2/3 full, testament to an amazing support for a team that, let's face it, were on the end of a bit of a pasting at the hands of Manchester City. The City players now moving towards their own support, but let me just remind you what we've still got to come. It's you, because we will, or I won't, but Andy Buckley and Fred Eyre will describe the proceedings as City take their medals and raise the cup and share their celebrations with the fans. But once that bit's done and dusted, we're with you through till 8 o'clock. We can hear from the man of the match, the world's shortest performance to achieve that acclaim, Kevin De Bruyne.
The pressure we had, but I think the first half was a little bit edgy sometimes. But obviously with the 2-0 advantage, and then I think the second half we played great. We scored another 4 goals, had more chances, and yeah, a great way to end the season.
And for you, I think there was at some point in the season when you got that injury that you didn't think you'd play another part. To come onto the pitch, to have the contribution you had in this historic game, it must feel pretty special.
Yeah, it feels a little bit as an honour, because obviously after the Tottenham injury, mentally I was done. 5 injuries in a year. It's a lot, but then after a couple of days I wanted really to be with the team and try to be back for the title game and this game, and I feel somewhere blessed that I could end in this way to show everybody that I'm still the same, and hopefully next season will be better.
Yeah, you only needed 35 minutes, but it was enough to get you the Emirates FA Cup man of the match. Congratulations, Kevin, well played. Thank you very much.
Kevin De Bruyne, man of the match after, I think, Fred, was it about 25 minutes on the park?
35, I think the interviewer said, so we'll take word for it. But a lot can happen in 35 minutes, obviously.
But sometimes it takes you a few minutes to adjust to the pace of the game. It wasn't noticeable, Fred.
No, straight in there, seamless.
So, before I was so rudely interrupted by KDB, we're here till 8 o'clock, so if you want to talk about today's performance, if you want to talk about this season, for Manchester City. Whether you watched today's game at Wembley, whether you followed it with us on BBC Radio Manchester, we'd love to hear from you. You've got till 8 o'clock. The number 0800 218 2255. 0800 218 2255. If you don't want to talk but you do want to make a point, yes, you can text us. The text number is 81333. Don't forget, if you are texting, start your message with Manc. That's M-A-N-C. Mike Alpha November Charlie, and do put your name in it so we can give you the credit for your contribution. But if you can get to a phone, do get to a phone. Let's hear from Pep Guardiola with BBC's Dan Walker.
I've asked you numerous times this season about what would it mean to you to win the FA Cup, and you always said to me, ask me when we've done it. Now you've done it. What does it mean to you and to this team?
Right. So I saw the FA Cup on TV, so both teams, the people, so it was, of course, it was incredible final for us, not for Watford, because at the end the result is what it is. But yeah, we finished an incredible year for us, so for the organisation, all the people from Man City, so big congratulations, especially for the players, of course, because they are the reason why we won these titles.
Lots of people talk about the goals, all 6 of them, but how important was that save from Ederson at 0-0?
In the final, this kind of aim make the difference, so it's quite similar to Champions League, so this kind of saves, Ederson saved us the key point of in the beginning, because how they defend really well. When 1-0 up would have been more difficult, but after that, especially the second goal and the third, the game was over.
We spoke about a week ago, we were talking about how you make demands of yourself, you make demands of the players, and you demand that intensity in every game. To win 3 trophies and the Community Shield in this season, what does that mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, it's good. They have not done before, so in this country the first time. One team, is going to do again, because if we are able to do that, then our team can do it, but we were the first.
How do you get better as well?
Sorry?
How do you improve this team from this point?
Well, we have to. Still, always you can improve. There's no sense to stay here.
And one final thing, I've been told to tell you, apparently the Coatigan, right, which has been very famous this season, apparently you're getting rid of the Coatigan, is that right?
Yes, I think it's for the charity, and now it's summertime, so I don't need it anymore. So now it's for you.
Okay, so apparently you can go on the City website and you can bid to have this coat yourself over the course of the week. So the coat is gone, you've lost the coat, but you've gained another trophy. Go and enjoy the lift with your players. Thank you very much for talking to us. Well done.
Pep Guardiola live on BBC talking to Dan Walker. The Watford players going up to take their consolation or losers medals. I'll hand you back to the commentary team as soon as City start the ascent to the Royal Box. But a couple of tweets, feeling sorry for Watford, but my goodness, City are great. That's from Tony B. Jay says City fans are tired of celebrating. Don't think so, Jay. Don't think so. Edward, KDB, man of the match. Yeah, only took him 35 minutes to do it. And the last one for now, Chris Hannon. I do feel sorry for Watford, but what a delight to watch Manchester City. I don't care how much they spend, Pep is key, and they are a different class to the class of the rest of the league. Vincent Kompany with Dan Walker.
As soon as we scored the 2 goals and second half there to come and press, it opened up the game for us, and he made it so much more achievable to create chances. And I don't know, it wasn't as easy as the score says it, but what a season, what a tremendous club.
Where does the desire come from? Where does that intensity to keep going game after game in a season like this? Raheem's going to come in and join us as well. Congratulations, Raheem.
It starts with the manager, who set the standard beginning of the season and said that we had to go again, go back to back. And then it's the group, it's a positive group, young players and talented, and of course you need quality, and that's why we did it.
Stay with us for a moment, because I want to bring Raheem Sterling in. Now, are you saying hat-trick today, by the way? You saying 2 goals. Did you get that one in the first half?
I got a Scooby-Doo. The boys were brilliant today. My goals were just added to the win, Everyone was fantastic. Kevin came on, done an absolute madness, as I can say. So, it's credit to all the boys today. It's a fantastic year.
Raheem, we spoke to you before this final, and you've spoken a lot, haven't you, about the boy who grew up in the shadow of Wembley, who cycled around this stadium, and the boy who is now an FA Cup winner?
Yes, you know, growing up here, growing up seeing this.
Manchester City about to take the acclaim for winning this year's FA Cup. Let me hand back to the commentary team of Fred and Andy Buckley.
Yes, the FA Cup is about to be presented. Manchester City scoring 5 or more goals for the 11th occasion this season. 169 goals in 61 games, and the FA Cup placed on the plinth with the blue and white
ribbons.
Scarves, yeah, the ribbons around it, and His Royal Highness Prince William will very shortly present that trophy to Vincent Kompany, and it's a famous sight that's been repeated many times, and many winners. Manchester City doing it for the 6th time. Ederson, the first player to go up the steps, Fred.
It's a lovely trophy. Every time I see it isolated like that, it's you can't beat the FA Cup. Now, obviously, there are other bigger trophies, and the pecking order of them has somewhat changed. But to see the FA Cup there, draped in Manchester City's colours, it is a fantastic sight, certainly for me.
For the first time in 8 years as well, 50 years on from that famous win against Leicester in the 1969 FA Cup final. Sergio Aguero gets his medal from the Duke of Cambridge, and the players just making their way across to get the handshake from His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge. What an occasion for Manchester City. Watford hit for 6. Manchester City magnificent yet again, and very shortly the trophy will be handed to the club's most successful captain, Vincent Kompany. His 10th major honour at Manchester City. He's won the Premier League 4 times, won the League Cup 4 times, he's won the FA Cup, but never as a captain. His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge prepares to present the FA Cup. A prince crowns the kings of English football, and Kompany holds aloft the FA Cup with a red and black scarf draped round his neck. A glorious moment for Manchester City in what has been an incredible era under Pep Guardiola, and this is a fitting stage on which to claim an unprecedented domestic treble of English football.
Yeah, it's going to be passed along the line now, and it's being held up in triumph. Still quite a number of Watford fans in the stadium, but obviously Wembley today is blue and white, belongs to Manchester City, and what a performance they put on, which just epitomises how it's been all season. And just to remind everybody who watches just FA Cup finals, this is how it has been all of this current 2018-2019 season.
Well, 20 years on from Gillingham playoff 1999. Here we are. Who would have thought it, Fred?
No, come a long way, and but we were as delirious that day, to be fair. It was a great fighting effort from Nicky Weaver onwards in that team, and the quality, it has to be said, is somewhat different these days, but the spirit of Manchester City is exactly the same. It'll live on forever, but it is at its zenith at this particular moment. It's difficult to imagine anything better than this season.
Well, more handshakes as the players make their way back towards pitch level, where they will make that traditional lap of honour as FA Cup winners. And Pep Guardiola's first FA Cup triumph as well, which is something special.
It is. To win the FA Cup, I don't care how many times you win it, it's always something special. And today, to turn in a magnificent performance, to score 6 and make sure everybody remembers it, will never forget it, especially the people that are here, kids coming here for the first time. It's just a day that will be etched in their memories forever and ever.
6-0 equals the record FA Cup score. We never thought it'd be beaten that, certainly not in our lifetime. Bury 1903, 6-0 against Derby County, and probably quite rightly proud of that achievement, thought it would stay in the record books forever.
Yeah, it's nice that we've been able to equal an achievement by Bury. Manchester City and Bury both have the same accolade. That has a nice ring about it.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola becomes the 8th manager to win the FA Cup and League Cup. A list spread that includes people like Phil Nicholson, Don Revie, Kenny Dalglish, George Graham, Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho, and 50 years ago, you said it, Joe Mercer.
Joe Mercer. Yeah, I remember Joe at his prime being congratulated by the great Sir Matt Busby live on television. Congratulations, Joe! And it was great to see two gentlemen of football still at the peak of their profession all those years ago. Now Manchester City, with this manager and these players, they are at the very peak of their profession, and right in amongst it is somebody who's synonymous with both Manchester clubs, Sir Matt Busby and City. Brian Kidd's right in there amongst all the staff there, waiting to go and join the players on the winners' podium.
Yeah, Brian Kidd this month, next week in fact, 70 years of age, scored a winning goal, scored one of the goals in United's 4-1 win against Benfica.
He can never disguise his birthday. He can never say he's any younger than what he is. Everybody knows he was 19th on that memorable 19 on that memorable day. Here's City with the cup, the fireworks go, Vincent's raising it above his head. Fantastic, Blue Moon's playing.
Yeah, a ticker tape fanfare for the fabulous champions of the Premier League, of the Carabao Cup, of the FA Cup, the fireworks as well. And the Watford players have left the scene to the victorious Manchester City side. And we knew really once it got to 3 that it could be more damage for Watford. We knew that it could be a landslide, and that's what happened in the end. And those celebrations replicating what happened on the south coast a week ago, and really a team of all ages, of all eras, Fred.
Yeah, it's the age is spread nicely across the team. There's not an area that you could say there's too many old men in the back four, or there's too many old men up front. The experience and the youthfulness is spread throughout the group. It's a good mix, it's a good balance. Obviously, you've got to have a good mix and a good balance to achieve what this team has achieved this season. It's almost perfection.
Well, Phil Foden is in amongst the celebrations, but he's got a blue jumper on. He's not got his kit on because he didn't make the final 18. But such are the standards within Manchester City that players of the future, and surely his time will come on this kind of occasion.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, and there's a lot of players didn't even make the bench, the players of quality. Fabian Delph has just been named by Gareth Southgate in his England squad, and yet he's not even on the bench today. We've not seen Benjamin Mendy for weeks, and Phil Foden, a player of immense promise, that has been on the bench nearly all season. He's not made it either, which just shows the depth of the squad of Manchester City, and there's more great players coming through at even younger ages. The future looks sky blue.
Yeah, and a bunch of photographers going behind the goal to take the pictures of the players as they celebrate, looking for that snapshot that will be treasured forever, and will no doubt be plastered on the walls of the Etihad. City are good at that, aren't they? They do everything in style, but there was a memento of Jesus as I make my way to the home games. You see him celebrating, scoring that goal at Southampton last May when City clinched the 100 points, and there will be souvenirs of this historic occasion as well that will be forever embedded in Manchester City's fabric.
It will, and Kevin De Bruyne's goal is just showing up on the screen, showing the coolness as he raced into the box and got on the end of Jesus' pass, faked to shoot, sent Gomez the wrong way, just dinked it inside him, took another couple of touches just to make doubly sure and slide the ball into the empty net. And it's showing that one in homage to the player that was on the pitch for 35 minutes and was voted man of the match, Kevin De Bruyne.
So 2 goals for Sterling, there was talk that it might be a hat-trick, but I'm convinced that the ball had crossed the line before he got a touch to it. So 2 for Sterling, 2 for Jesus, no Sergio Aguero. We couldn't really have scripted this before, could we?
No, we couldn't, but whoever's written this script, well done, and we'll turn it into a film.
Yeah, an incredible afternoon for Manchester City. And Fred, last season was something that was quite extraordinary and special, and we thought, how can we eclipse that? 100 points, a double, a league and cup double.
The only way we can do that is win all these again, plus the Champions League. That's the only way you'll beat this season. It's quite logical, isn't it? There's only one, it can only be beaten one way.
So that means there's room for improvement.
The only way that this season can be bettered is to win all these trophies again and the Champions League. It's simple.
Let's hear from Bernardo. He's talking to Dan Walker.
All the domestic competitions, first time that any team has done it. It's amazing. What a team this is. The fans were amazing this season as well. They pushed us this far. Well, now it's time to rest, time to celebrate. Next season we'll try again.
We're talking to your manager, Pep Guardiola, about how do you improve on a team like this, because he demands perfection, he demands intensity in every game, and it seems you're able to deliver 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. How does this team get better?
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter if we win 1-0 or 5-0. There's always space for improvement, and that's what we try to do. Next season we'll try to get better, and we'll try to win even more titles, to be even better, to control more the games, to have more possession, to create more chances, score more goals. We'll work on that.
I know you're the only guy here who probably knows what it feels like to win a treble, because you were part of that Benfica team many years ago. What does this one feel like, to win every trophy domestically available to you?
Well, it feels a lot. It's fantastic. It means you're the best in your country by far, because you won all the competitions. So yeah, we're very happy with this season. I think everyone was amazing, not only the players, the staff, the fans. So yeah, time to celebrate and to enjoy.
And the great winners are always thinking about what next. How long will you give yourself to enjoy before thinking about what happens next?
Well, all the summer, and then pre-season we'll start thinking about what happens next season, the challenges we have ahead of us, and we'll try to do even better.
We have a little close-up of your medal winner as well. There's the medal of an FA Cup winner, Bernardo Silva. Congratulations. Enjoy your summer.
Bernardo Silva with BBC's Dan Walker. Right, look at the time. It's 7:15. We're with you through till 8 o'clock. It's not a royal week because Fred Ayre's with me here at Wembley. If you want to talk about Manchester City this season, this game, where they go from here, it's all up for grabs. Pick up a phone, 0800 218 2255. Yes, you can text or tweet at BBC RM Sport. You can text 81333. Start your message with Mike. That's Mike Alpha November Charlie, and do put your name on it so I can give you the credit. But the good old-fashioned yak is what I'm after. 0800 218 2255. Fred.
Yeah.
Jesus has been credited with that goal apparently.
Quite right.
In the presence of triumph, Fred, there is adversity. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
From Michael Kirkin. First cup final I've missed on the telly for 40 years. Sounds like I missed the best ever. Had to clean the greenhouse as my kids want to grow tomatoes.
Couldn't they grow them tomorrow?
It brings a tear. It brings a cold tear to a glass eye.
Has he not heard of a portable radio?
Oh no, he's been listening.
Oh,
it's
good,
the
thank goodness.
First TV he's missed.
Oh well, I'm pleased we were able to make sure he was abreast with what was happening.
Michael, Winderleen's the answer. Let's talk to Alison. Hi, Alison. Alison. I don't think she can hear me. If you want to join, I'll be the one after Alison. 0800 218 2255. Alison.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hiya.
Hello.
You're using his name when it's Joy from Zero.
Sorry, Alison, you're going to have to shout. It's very noisy at Wembley.
I said you're using my fictitious name that I used on another programme, and it's Joy.
Joy, sorry.
Okay.
Well, you've got Fred to talk to, Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Hi Fred, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great today.
It's difficult to know where to start. I mean, first of all, the save of Edison. No, you've got to start with Edison saving that goal.
Yep.
And the other thing I want to say, in addition to what I want to say about City, is all credit to Watford fans. I think their behaviour was just amazing under the circumstances.
It was indeed. That's two that I agree with you. Any more?
Right, good. Yeah, well, yes.
Come on, Joy, give him something to think about.
I think they saved the best to last. They showed how they are all for each other. It's just the most amazing team spirit. And if any of them are ever interviewed, they always give credit to Pep, particularly Sterling, who said that he changed his career around. We're so lucky to have him, and that's been amazing. But the way they rejoice for each other. And the other thing I want to say is, what a difference it made when Bruyne came on. Okay, he missed a possible goal, but somehow the whole thing changed when he came on.
Well, it did, and the other pleasing thing is he didn't seem as rusty as he's been in his other comeback games, shall we call them. Today, he immediately, the moment he steps on the field, he looked like the Kevin De Bruyne of old. I don't know whether they just... I said during the commentary, there's no one picking him up. It looks as though he's just come on, and nobody in the Watford team has thought to himself, he's my man. I've got to mark him, I've got to stop him. They just let him do whatever he wanted, and from the first moment he stepped on the pitch, he was oozing confidence, and his confidence just grew because they allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do, and
Joy,
he did it well.
Joy, thank you for setting the ball rolling in the face of adversity. It's still very, very noisy up Wembley, but do join us, please. 0800 218 2255. Just a great picture on the screen. City have just completed the domestic treble. They've just battered Watford by 6-0. And Pep Guardiola with his arm round Raheem Sterling, telling him just exactly where he came up slightly short of Pep's expectations. Right, we've got just over, half an hour or so. So do join us, 0800 218 2255. Yes, you can talk about the cup final, but if you want to talk about the season as a totality, then by all means do that thing. Pick up a phone, fire off a text. Phone would be my first choice, please. 0800 218 2255. If you can't get there, send a text 81333. Start your message with Mike and put your name on it. But do get a move on. It's 7:20.
BBC Radio Manchester travel update.
With the latest, here's Nicola McIntosh.
Wilbraham Road heading eastbound, partially blocked at the moment with some heavy traffic due to ongoing emergency repairs between Barlow Moor Road and Albany Road. Heading onto the A57 Regent Road eastbound, slow traffic there just before the roadworks around Trinity Way with a travel time of around 10 minutes. And on the A6 Chapel Street heading westbound, one lane closed there from the A56 Victoria Street to Blackfriars